Welcome, one and all, to the updated look into an unbreakable perspective of bowling. It's been the ongoing mission of North American bowling and SpareTalk to bring the sport of bowling back to the prominence it once held when the game was first brought to the shores of the American continents. The podcast that is featured here focuses on this day in bowling history. Here, we feature news snippets from years and decades past, with the understanding that news isn't old if you've never heard it before. It's with this first step that we all must realize that in order for the game to grow just as it did throughout history, the games must not be separated by the nonsensical ideology that any one game is superior to another. Once we come to the realization that all games are brothers under the one umbrella of bowling, that's when the game will be strengthened through unity. Accept all games and embrace them with respect. It's with this perspective that we bring you this podcast. So, join our initial trio of AI reporters, Ike Muncie, Marcy McCall, and Frank Alkay, as they bring you the news of what happened on this day in the history of bowling. And now, on with the show.
From the year 1981, in the Stanley News and Press out of Albemarle, North Carolina. Viscomi gains Southern Regional Bowling Crown. Joe Viscomi can hardly be considered a struggling bowler. The 25-year-old Albemarle native has had quite a bit of success on the Professional Bowlers Association Southern Regional Tour. Joe just won his 6th Southern Regional title on Sunday, November 8th, for his effort, plus a nice trophy. In the Spartanburg, South Carolina Regional PBA Open, he received a check for $1,500. To accomplish this, Joe qualified for the stepladder finals in the second position, eliminating Rick Whitsey of Atlanta, Georgia, 222-213. Then Joe faced and defeated the leader, Bill Allen, a 13-time national champion of Orlando, Florida, 217-201. On Saturday, November 7th, Joe qualified first with a 235 average for the 10 games. During the match play finals on Sunday, he won 12 of his 16 matches. He averaged 218.3. For the 28-game tournament, this breaks a string of third-place finishes. During the 1981 Regional Tour, which finished in Charleston, South Carolina, 2 weeks ago, there were 14 tournaments. Joe cashed 5 times and made the finals 7 times. Out of those 7 finals, he made the TV format 4 times and finished third 3 of those times and came in first once. Joe ended the year being the point leader, but dropped to third in the money winnings, despite an earnings increase over 1980 when he was the leader. Because of this, Joe finished third in Bowler of the Year designation, which he won last year. Joe is not satisfied with his regional success. He yearns for the big time. He would like to replace the weekend tournaments, the likes of Spartanburg and Charlotte, with the bright lights and big money of cities like Los Angeles and Las Vegas. Joe wants a shot at the PBA's national tour.
From the year 2023 in the Macon Telegraph of Macon, Georgia, duckpin bowling coming to downtown in 2024. A new recreational activity is coming to downtown Macon. Duckpin bowling, similar to traditional bowling, will be introduced to the Macon community in 2024 at the Social Duck, said Dr. Chris Ellis, owner of Barefoot Tavern and the Social Duck. The Social Duck will be located next door to Barefoot Tavern with a conjoining door to the restaurant so that patrons can buy food and drinks. To stay up to date with the Social Duck, people can sign up for email notifications at its website, socialduckmacon.com. I am all about bringing new things and exposing people to new opportunities, new ideas, and it was great. When I did it, it was more fun than regular bowling. So I thought it would be a great thing to bring here, Ellis said. You do not even know you are not really bowling. To me, it is much more fun than regular bowling. The announcement for the new venture was made at Newtown Macon's press conference regarding a $1 million investment from Synovus Bank to Newtown Macon's loan program. It is overwhelming sometimes how lucky we are to have partners like this, who are not going to stop until every building is full of something fun and vibrant, and that is building income and wealth for Maconites, said Josh Rogers, president and CEO of Newtown Macon, at the news conference. The new business will have 6 lanes for duck pin bowling and a separate entrance from Barefoot Tavern, although the 2 spaces will be connected. Duck pin bowling does not require people to wear bowling shoes, and the ball is small enough to fit in your hand. The lanes are also shorter. You can come down and really make an evening of downtown, Ellis said. I think it is going to enhance downtown, especially 2nd Street, which I am most fond of. They have been working for about a year on the project. And Ellis said he hopes to open the business in around 6 months. Delays are inevitable, but once construction starts, it should move rather quickly, he said. I am just excited about the project. I am excited about downtown. I am excited about Barefoot. We have new menu items that are available and people should give us a try, he said.
From 1988 in the Tri-City Herald of Pasco, Washington, Adamek ends LPBT wind drought. Donna Adamek of Victorville, California, won her first title in 5 years Saturday, defeating top-seeded Robin Romeo of Van Nuys, California, 211 to 177. To win the $30,000 first prize in the $125,000 Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, Sam's Town National Pro-Am. Adamek, who had not won a title since May of 1983, rolled 4 strikes in the first 6 frames, while Romeo opened in 3 of her first 5 frames. Adamek clinched her 16th career title with 2 more strikes in the 8th and 9th frames. She won $30,000 for first place, while Romeo pocketed $15,000 as the runner-up. The stepladder finals opened with Wendy McPherson of San Diego, California, ousting Algonquin, Illinois pro Lori Nichols, 196 to 150. Next, Adamek downed McPherson, 216 to 202. And in the third game, Adamek prevailed over Broken Arrow, Oklahoma's Paula Drake, 207 to 188. Drake won $10,000 for third place. McPherson collected $7,000 for fourth, and Nichols took home $5,000 for the 5th spot. The tournament ended the LPBT's 1988 season. LPBT's 1989 season begins in early February in Canoga Park, California.
From the Daily Herald in the year 1996 out of Everett, Washington. Albee wins TPA tournament. Mike Albee defeated Parker Bone III, 268 to 259 on Tuesday, to capture the 1996 Bear Brunswick Touring Players Association Championship in a Professional Bowlers Association title match at Robert Morris College in Pittsburgh. The Indianapolis native, who was inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame earlier this year, rolled strikes on 10 of 12 shots during the championship match, but used a friendly rolling headpin to clinch the title. The left-hander went flush in the pocket. Needing a strike on a second ball in the 10th frame, he nearly lost when the 7-pin stood for just a second before Messenger headpin sealed the deal for Albee. From the Omaha World Herald of Omaha, Nebraska in the year 1989, LPBT signs biggest contract. The Ladies Professional Bowlers Tour, fresh from signing its biggest television contract in history, has reached unprecedented stature and credibility. And the LPBT's gradual climb to acceptance has created a relative calm in the ranks of its members, something that has not always existed. That is the view of LPBT member Jerry Edwards in Omaha over the weekend to conduct clinics at leisure lanes. I think the consensus is that we are happy with the growth we are seeing, Edwards said. All the moves have been in the right direction. We are seeing more tournaments and better prize money. Our ratings on TV have been good. What we are seeing is great for our tour and women's professional bowling in general, but it has not been easy. The LPBT has endured a long, tough road to respectability since it was formed in 1981. Sponsors have been slow to provide support. Generally, they adopted a wait-and-see attitude to determine whether the LPBT would survive. And in 1987, the LPBT faced a challenge from a splinter group, formed because some felt progress was too slow. Though the group disappeared almost as quickly as it was formed, it created an unsettling influence on the LPBT, and for a time set the group back. "I think we have proved ourselves now," Edwards said. "I think the TV ratings have proved that people enjoy watching us bowl." The LPBT recently signed a multi-year agreement with ESPN to televise tournament competition, beginning with a 23-tourney schedule in 1990. ESPN began its coverage of the Women's Tour in 1986, when it telecast the finals of 6 tournaments. Coverage increased to 13 events in 1987, 17 in 1988, and 18 this year. With its loyal following, the LPBT's ratings consistently have matched or bettered ESPN's average ratings for all of its programs. When the other women's pro organization developed in 1987, it said the LPBT management lacked interest in the bowlers and motivation to improve the tour's tournament schedule and prize money. Now, Edwards said, the women seem to be 100% behind our tour. They will support any management they feel is working for the tour in general. And we are seeing that now. She said communication with the bowlers is good. "Oh, it can always be better," she added, "but we are comfortable with what we have. We have a good idea of the direction we are headed and what the future plans are. I do not think it is realistic to expect that our management tell us everything that is going on. Sometimes it is just not in the best interest of the tour." Edwards, a 2-year pro from Madison, Illinois, is a good representative of the type of player the LPBT now attracts. She is a member of the teaching staff of the Professional Bowlers Camp and conducts clinics around the country for the group. After leading her high school to a state championship, she attended Penn State on a partial academic and bowling scholarship. She graduated from Penn State with a degree in marketing. She worked for a financial services company until the lure of professional bowling and teaching became too strong. "After leaving Penn State, I told myself I should put my degree to use," she said. "But there is nothing I have done that gives me the enjoyment I derive from bowling. So I made a commitment to go out on the tour." A part-time player so far, Edwards plans to bowl full-time next year. "I plan to just do the best I can and make a positive contribution to the tour. I have some goals in mind, but I am going to keep them to myself," she said with a smile.
From the year 1988 in the Tri-City Herald of Pasco, Washington. Auto wreck kills top Tri-City bowlers. 2 top Tri-City professional bowlers died in a single vehicle accident when their car plunged over a 200-foot cliff near Goldendale, the Washington State Patrol reported Saturday. Mike Pittman, 24 of Rossell Avenue, Richland, and Mike Taylor, 28 of West 20th Avenue, in Kennewick were killed instantly about 6:15 p.m. Friday, when a 1987 Toyota Supra driven by Taylor went off Highway 14 and over the cliff about 12 miles southeast of Goldendale. The State Patrol in Vancouver reported the men were on their way to a tournament in Oregon. They were both very highly regarded, said Dave Roberts of Vancouver, a public relations representative for the Northwest region of the Professional Bowlers Association. Pittman was definitely a candidate for our Man of the Year. The State Patrol office in Vancouver said by telephone Saturday that the 2 Tri-Cityans were traveling west on Highway 14 when their car suddenly swerved to the right and went off the cliff, but the reason was unknown. "It may never be known," the dispatcher said. Roberts reached by telephone in Albany, Oregon at a regional professional bowlers tournament where Pittman and Taylor were expected to compete, said Pittman had won 3 of the last 4 tournaments of the Northwest region of the Professional Bowlers Association. Pittman won his first tournament this year in Richland at Atomic Lanes, and he won in September in Moses Lake, Roberts said. The Richland win was at the Northwest Pro Bowlers Association Invitational over Labor Day weekend. Pittman also won the Northwest Residential Pro Championship 2 weeks ago in Yakima, when he won in Yakima at the Nob Hill Lane, pocketing $1,000. He was described in news reports as the hottest player on the Northwest Resident Pro Bowlers Tour. That win qualified Pittman as one of 10 bowlers from the Pacific Northwest to compete in December in Orlando, Florida, in the National Residential Pro Championship, Roberts said. Taylor, who placed fourth at Yakima 2 weeks ago, also qualified to compete in Orlando, he added. Pittman said at the time of his win that he planned to take part of the $1,000 he won at Yakima to pay my dad's ticket to Orlando. Both players had averages of 213 per game this year after 164 games for Pittman and 154 for Taylor, according to Roberts. Pittman's bowling earnings this year were $6,522, and Taylor had won $1,720. Pittman had recently taken a job with Richland as a meter reader, and Taylor worked as a lab technician for Boise Cascade's Wallula plant, Roberts said. Pittman, who turned 24 this month, also had been working at Columbia Lanes in Kennewick since August 1987. Mike Pittman was a good friend of mine for a number of years, said Dwight Marquardt, owner of Columbia Lanes. I regard him as one of the best ball drillers around and one of the hottest bowlers right now. Ray Calloway, Taylor's roommate, described Taylor as active in several sports. He was constantly either playing golf or basketball or softball or bowling, Calloway said. Pittman started bowling in Richland when he was 10 years old in the junior leagues, and Taylor began bowling at age 17, Roberts said. Pittman had been bowling in professional regional tournaments for about 5 years, and Taylor for about 4 years, he added. Both men were bachelors. Pittman lived at the home of his parents, Bob and Audrey Pittman of Richland, while Taylor lived with his roommate in Kennewick, Roberts said. Taylor had lived in the Tri-Cities since 1980. His father lives in Vancouver and his mother lives in the East, Roberts said.
From the year 2005 in the Evansville Courier and Press, out of Evansville, Indiana. New England embraces sport of candlepin bowling. The sport of candlepins is a bowling game unique to New England and the Canadian Maritime Provinces. According to Dan Murphy, Vice President and Managing Director of the Candlepin Bowling Association. Justin White, the inventor, thought 10 pins was too easy. White envisioned a game with skinnier pins and smaller balls to create a more challenging game. And just to interject an important point here, for a best understanding of the situation, 10 pins circa 1880 did not carry the same meaning then as we know the game nowadays. 10 pins simply meant any game that used a total of 10 pins on the pin deck. The 2024 book, More Than Just a Game, reveals this bit of misplaced history in detail. In fact, when candlepins established its own identity, the idea was to secede from 10 pins, establishing its own identity from not only that of the tall and short bottle-shaped pins, but also the larger and smaller balls. The book is an informative read, but with that being said, we will continue with the article. In 1888, White hired John J. Monsey to work at his Candlepin Center in Worcester, Massachusetts. Monsey, later known as the father of candlepins, dedicated his life for the betterment of the sport. His vision brought about standards for the sport that are used today. Candlepins stand 15 3/4 inches tall, 1 3/4 inches wide at the top and bottom, 2 15/16 inches wide in the middle, have a maximum weight of 2 pounds, 8 ounces, and are made of plastic. The pins are set 12 inches apart, as in 10-pin bowling. Candlepin bowling was the first bowling sport to use an automatic pin setter. In 1949, 2 attorneys, Howard Dowd and R. Lionel Barrows, installed pin setters at Walham Park in Lunenburg, Massachusetts. 10-pin bowling did not utilize its first automatic pin setter until 1954. The candlepin ball is 4 5/8 inches in diameter with a maximum weight of 2 pounds, 7 ounces. Candlepin balls are made of rubber compounds or urethane, and are purchased in sets of 4. The lanes are the same as 10-pin lanes, but in candlepins there is a lob line set 10 feet beyond the foul line. Any ball that does not make contact with the lane prior to the lob line is a foul. Most candlepin lanes have a water-based finish with a minimal amount of oil. A game is called a string, which is made up of 10 boxes. In each box, you have the opportunity to roll the ball 3 times. If you knock down all 10 pins on your first ball, it is a strike. On your second, a spare, and your third counts 10 for the box. If you score 10 pins in every box, you are considered to have bowled a perfect game. Pins that fall stay on the deck and are not cleared away. A very good average is 125. The highest game ever bowled is 245 by Ralph Semb of Irving, Massachusetts. The highest 3-string series is 530 by Chris Sargent. Most candlepin players take 3 steps and have a very long slide. Fewer steps are needed because the ball is so light. Bowlers tend to roll the ball straight for accuracy and aim directly at the pins. Teams are made up of 4 to 5 players. Each player bowls 5 consecutive boxes. After each box, a player pushes the reset button for a new rack of pins. When each team has finished its first 5 boxes, the teams switch lanes and finish up. All ages are able to play, and your skill level is limited only by how hard you want to practice.
From the Daily Herald in the year 1996 out of Everett, Washington, McPherson Williams, bound for Merit Showdown. Wendy McPherson and Walter Ray Williams Jr. have qualified for bowling's Battle of the Sexes, the $30,000 Merit Showdown on December 13th at Sam's Town in Las Vegas. McPherson led the Ladies Professional Bowlers Tour LPBT and Williams the Professional Bowlers Association PBA Tour in the 1996 Merit Bowling Rankings. They will bowl against each other in the 3-game winner-take-all format. The high-stakes match is part of the 1996 Merit Mixed Doubles Tournament held on December 12 through 15 at Sam's Town Hotel, Gambling Hall, and Bowling Center in Las Vegas.
From the Courier-Journal out of Louisville, Kentucky in the year 2007. New Albany bowler Wolf upends a PBA Tour legend. Mike Wolf of New Albany won his 3rd career Professional Bowlers Association Tour title by defeating Walter Ray Williams Jr., the all-time leader in championships, 256 to 225. In Sunday's final of the Tonic Championship in Cheektowaga, New York. Wolf and Williams, who was making his 3rd consecutive championship round appearance, were even through 5 frames, but then Williams struggled to 3 consecutive 9 spares, while Wolf was getting strikes in the 6th and 7th. You know you are going to have to get at least 8 strikes to beat him, and you just hope some of them are strung together, said the 31-year-old Wolf, who nipped Chris Barnes 236 to 235 to reach the final. Williams was on an unbelievable run, and it is just an indescribable feeling to beat him when he is on a run like this. Wolf earned $25,000 and an exemption for the 2008 to 2009 season.
Good day, everyone. I'm Colleen Mooney, and I'll be updating you on the latest goings-on of the PBA. In a PBA press release from November 12, 2025, PBA West Region finalizes automatic qualifying field for Regional Players Invitational event. The West Region became the 7th and final region to hold their 2025 Bowl TV PBA Regional Players Invitational Qualifier tournaments this past weekend. The 2 events at South Point Bowling Plaza in Las Vegas rounded out the automatic qualifier field for the RPI. Each region awarded 4 PBA and 3 PBA 50 division berths in their respective RPI qualifier events, which were held throughout the fall. The RPI, the Regional Tour's end-of-season tournament, will take place December 11 through 14 at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. The title of the Bowl TV PBA RPI South Point Hotel Casino Open went to Ryan Barnes, the first of his young career. But the 2025 PBA Rookie of the Year is ineligible to compete in the RPI because of his achievements on the PBA Tour. The RPI berths went to runner-up Darren Tang, Hunter Mays, Michael Fitzgerald, and Chad Lush. Tang won 2 titles, becoming the first player to win PBA titles one-handed and two-handed, and led the West region in points this season. Tony Olivia emerged with the 2025 Bowl TV PBA 50 RPI South Point Hotel Casino Classic title. While the Wisconsin native cannot qualify out of the West region, he will represent the Midwest in the RPI as a points list qualifier. Runner-up David Leverage, Michael Harder, and Tony Rodriguez Jr. earned the West region's automatic qualifier berths. Leverage led the field through qualifying and both advancer rounds, averaging nearly 210 for his 17 games. He fell in the title match to Olivia by a 249-191 margin. With all of the automatic qualifiers solidified, each region's points list will help round out the RPI field. 10 PBA division and 4 PBA 50 division players from each region will be invited based on their position in the season-long points. Those players, as well as the qualifiers from the PBA Sweden, Japan, and China regions, will be announced soon. More information on the RPI, including eligibility and rules, is available at pba.com. Here is the list of PBA RPI automatic qualifiers by region. I hope I get these names right. In the PBA East, Alex Horton, Joe Palasek, Andrew Hall, and Andrew Sascriba. In the PBA 50 East, Rick Graham, David Handlowich Jr., and Robert Mockenhappet. In the PBA Central, Zach Tackett, Rick McCormick, Zach Weidman, and Jeff Mann. In the PBA 50 Central, Kyle Bigelow, Darrell Bauer, and Michael Clark Jr. In the PBA Midwest, Cam Crow, Spencer Robarg, Ryan Burton, and Darren Bloomquist. In the PBA 50 Midwest, Ron Hurt, Scott Merritt, and Jeff Johnson. In the PBA South, Matthew Woodall, C.J. Petrin, Johnny Quach, and Thomas McLaughlin. In the PBA 50 South, Dennis Killow, Richard Blackman, and Kip Roberts. In the PBA Southwest, Deo Bernard, Chasen Pojas, Dallas Leong, and Corey Umbrello. In the PBA 50 Southwest, Paul Fleming, Tony Lanning, and Mike McHugh. In the PBA West, Darren Tang, Hunter Mays, Michael Fitzgerald, and Chad Lush. In the PBA 50 West, David Leverage, Michael Harder, and Tony Rodriguez Jr. In the PBA Northwest, Landon Carnate, Riley Woodard, Cameron Wire, and Evan Nash. And in the PBA 50 Northwest, Michael Kennedy, Craig Tucholsky, and Rich Corwin. Well, that should wrap up our podcast for today. Thank you all for your attention to bowling. And just to pass along a closing note from Rod Weaver, on behalf of the SpareTalk channel, we will be making some very interesting additions and improvements to this SpareTalk channel. We hope you'll return and even spread the word to check us out. So if you'd like to be notified when future videos become available and are published, feel free to hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of the videos. Have a wonderful and glorious weekend, and we will see you all on Monday.